My name is Solo. I'm a controller main that peaked Immortal, and today I will be showing you the best Omen One Ways that I currently use. Just to be clear, I will only be showing you One Ways on Ascent, Lotus, Haven, and Split, because these are the only maps that I play Omen on currently, and if you want a video on the other maps, I'll gladly make one, but I'll actually have to test those One Ways first. So let's get right into it. Starting here over on Ascent's A side, we have the One Way for A main.
Cover going out.
Which is a great smoke that gets used, I would say, at least in 30% of my rounds when I'm contesting a main. It's great because the attackers obviously have no vision of you as long as you're doing the smoke properly, which I'll show you another way that is improper. And it allows you a lot of space. So maybe you want to walk up here, get real close to the wall, or maybe you even want to sneak in a wine and give you an off timing or an off angle for when they're pushing A. One thing about this smoke is if you're throwing it too far back or maybe a little too high like this, you'll actually be able to, as an attacker, walk back here and you'll be able to see the person that's one-wing. So make sure that when you're throwing this smoke, you want to get it over here on this corner as low down as possible so that they actually won't be able to come back here and shoot you back. They won't be able to see anything. The next smoke that I want to throw is actually over here. It's up here in heaven. You're going to be one-waying a main right about here. It's actually kind of a hard one to throw, so make sure that if you're going to do this, you plan it beforehand. This smoke is pretty good. I wouldn't recommend using it in a lot of rounds, but it's pretty good to use it maybe once or twice a game. Smoke, obviously, they can't see you. It's really good to get a kill on a guy that's running out. For the most part, I would recommend just throwing a smoke deeper here or just your regular smoke here, because those are way better options. Actually, the last smoke that I want to be throwing over here is the one-way on
Cover going out.
Now this one-way is pretty good if you want to see someone maybe here running out, but I wouldn't use this one very often because if someone stands all the way back here, they're actually going to be able to see and shoot you back. So it's pretty counterintuitive, and I would just recommend throwing the regular one in pretty much all of your rounds. But you always have this one in your pocket in case you want to use it. Alright, the next one way we're going to be throwing is over here at Cat. It's right here. This one's actually not too hard to line up, but this one's really good for people walking up Cat or short, whatever you want to call it, because they won't be able to see you even if they're crouching or standing up here and you have a perfect shot on them. Yeah, this one's just great to have in your lineup. The next one we're going to be showing here is over here on tiles. You're going to line it up to have this on the edge, like this. You can go ahead and peek out. This one's really good for people peeking tiles very early, because they actually won't be able to see you pretty much at all until they get to this point, and you'll have a really good shot on them. I don't use this one very often in game, but it's a nice one to have in your toolbook. And note, if they cross over, you can do it the same way like this, and you'll have a one-way on them if they're trying to peek out from this side. But if they're coming from the left side, they'll have a pretty good shot on you early on. Alright, the next one way here is going to be for the Opper in Market. I've actually never used this one in game, and I just wanted to show it just because I think it's pretty cool. But you throw it kind of like this, and you want to make sure it gets up on that edge, and you'll actually block off the Opper here. I've never used this in game, and I've never seen anyone use it in game, but if you use it, let me know how it works. Alright, for our next one here, we have one from Tiles to the guy on Cat. This one pretty much works the same as the Opper and Market. It's pretty much just going to block them. They aren't going to be able to see you or shoot at you if they're peeking out here. I've actually, once again, never used this one in game, but I would like to know how it works out for you guys. Alright, now we're here over on the B site. We have this basic B main one right here. And this one's actually pretty easy to land if you're just here, but it's actually easier if you just go into the regular mode, just like this. This one's great, once again, for people just peeking out B main. It gives you a lot of early space and early timing to cross or to just hold from them to come. And I actually don't get to use this one very often in game, as I'm an A player most of the time on Omen, but it's nice to mix it up every once in a while, and this one's got me plenty of kills. Next up, we have a one-way here for a guy on stairs. This one is actually kind of hard to land unless you're in this mode, but it's actually not too bad to land if you're in the regular mode. Obviously, just press R and then you make sure you get that green line. This one's great for people just swinging out B main. They actually won't be able to see you for quite a long time. They have to actually, they play in the back, they might be able to see you, but you'll actually see them first. So this one's gotten me plenty of kills, and once again, I'm not really a B player, but this one can work every once in a while.
Cover going out.
So we have a one-way here for switch, and this one can actually be placed at several different height levels. But if you place it at the highest one right here, if you're coming over to switch, you'll be able to see their feet, and they shouldn't be able to see you. They might be able to if they're crouching. Once again, this is always a great advantage for you, as you can see their whole body. And you can actually throw this one just a tad bit lower, like here. It's going to actually land on this lower part of the door, as you can see. Throw it like this. And this one's really strong to just see if they're coming out, because they won't be able to see anything, and if they're walking through the smoke, you'll actually be able to see them pretty much once they get into the doorway. So it's really strong. Most of the time I'm just throwing this as a regular smoke, most likely, or I'm throwing it out here so I can teleport up here. But it's nice to throw one way every once in a while and catch opponents off guard. Alright, next we have a one way for back sight or boathouse. You're going to be throwing it like this pretty much, if I can get the actual line.
Cover going out.
This one's actually really strong. You might be able to think that they can see you, but they can actually never see you from this one, which is really good to catch people off guard. Maybe they think that this was just a messed up smoke and they can walk in the back or walk close or something like that. But you'll actually get a lot of free kills there. You can do it on either this one or this one, it doesn't really matter. But this one's great to throw every once in a while on like a retake. Next we have a one way for stairs here, and this one's actually really easy to throw. You just kind of make sure that you get that green line, obviously, and then you're just going to throw it. This one's great for when you're playing post plant. It's really good for people just coming down the stairs, obviously. They can see you if they're back here in CT peeking out, but once they get close, they can pretty much have almost no vision of you, and obviously once they're going through, it's just a free kill. The next and last one way on Ascent that I have here is right here for lane. This one's really strong for people just pushing up lane. You're going to have a great one way here. Sometimes they think that they could just run right through it and catch you off guard because they're pretty much blind. That one's really good. I normally try to throw it more towards the edge here because this will give you a lot more space to work around, and they have to run through a lot more of sight before they can actually see anything. Actually, wrapping up, I just wanted to show these two ones right here. Obviously, there are a lot of different places where you can plant, but this is one ways for planters. This one is a pretty bad example because if you plant right here, you would actually want to throw it more on this end, like this. And that one I sent really high just testing, but even if it's planted here and they crouch, you know, they can't see anything, even if they're all the way back here diffusing or whatever. So that's going to be a lot of free kills on people that are defusing the bomb. And I'm actually just going to fastly go over here and do the same thing on A site. You're just going to throw it up here on top of this box. And then when they're defusing the bomb, they won't be able to see anything. You'll be able to kill them for free. Alright, on to our next map. We have Haven, and I'm over here on the C site, which is normally where I'll actually be playing on Omen. So the first one we have right here is over here on these tube things right here. As you can see, it lands like this, and this is only a one-way really if you're standing up here, because here they're pretty much going to be able to see you. So if you're up here on the platform, this one's actually really good. I most likely am not actually going to ever use this one in game. I've used it maybe once or twice, and it's gotten me maybe a kill or two. But most of the time I'll actually be just throwing a deeper smoke, or I'll be throwing a smoke back here to actually provide cover for myself. Next smoke we have here is a one-way for here in garage. One just like this, and if they're running through, you're going to be able to get a lot of free kills. I've used this one more than the one that I just showed you previously, and this one's gotten me a decent amount more kills than that one. But I don't actually throw this one very often, as if I'm once again dealing with a split, I'll just throw a smoke back sight to actually provide cover for myself and just wait for my teammates to rotate in. The next one we're going to be showing here is deep down in C long. And
Shadows traveling.
now this one's good for maybe an early C long push. They actually won't be able to see anything. You're going to be able to get a lot of free kills here. But I'm not using this one very often, as I normally when I tend to throw this one, people won't even peek C, or they'll be rushing A when I'm throwing this. So I only throw this one maybe 2 or 3 times a game. Next one what we have here is in Garage. This one's actually fairly simple to throw. You're just going to want to make sure that you get it up here.
Shadows traveling.
And it's going to land, and then people walking through, obviously. The doors are going to be able to see absolutely nothing. And this one's just good to throw every once in a while if you think they're going to be pushing up Garage. Now this next one is one that I don't throw very often, but it's one that I'll do with a set play here that I'm going to show you the whole thing of. I'm going to be throwing it right up here. Get it to land like this.
Cover going out.
I'm going to be throwing this right at the start of the round. I'm going to be flashing, and then I'm going to be teleporting over here to take early grass control. Now this one way, besides this purpose, I will pretty much never throw, and I don't think it's very strong. But in this set play that I use, I think it's pretty good. Just one more thing to add on about this play is when you're pushing up here and you're holding this, right, you're going to be pretty vulnerable to someone jumping out B. So maybe you want to coordinate with your B player and you're going to ask them, to hold B window for you if you could. Now the next two that I'm going to be showing you are pretty much the same thing. It's going to be the A and C link one ways. I don't recommend using these very often, but they are good on very few occasions. These are pretty strong. As you can see, they can't really see anything. They can pretty much see all of backside, and especially if they're more pushed back here in C-Link, they won't be able to see any, or they'll be able to see pretty much everything. So I don't throw these very often, but it's sometimes good in post-plant. Maybe if you know that like the last two are grouped up C-Link, you can throw that one, and then they won't be able to walk through. And I'm just going to show you, it's pretty much the same thing here over on A-Link.
Cover going out.
Once again, pretty much the same thing. They aren't going to be able to really run through this. But once again, they can see pretty much everything if they're back here. Now the next one I'm going to be showing you is over here towards...
Cover
right here.
going out.
Now this one's actually pretty hard to throw because there will be two different points or heights to which this one can be thrown. And this one's the right height, as you can see. This one's really good if you have like maybe a jet dashing or like a neon running up and seeing the people pushing through this. It's going to be a lot of free kills. But you pretty much can't use this one just by yourself. You're going to need someone to actually work off of this one for you. The next one way here is going to be over here towards a heaven, just
Cover
like
going
this.
out.
Now this one's once again like the one on Haven, or not Haven, sorry, Ascent Heaven, where I don't use this one very often, but it is good to use this one every once in a while. Maybe if you have a teammate up here in Heaven who can get a lot of free kills off of this one. But otherwise, I would mostly recommend you just use a regular smoke here so that they can't just rush on the site. The next one way we have over here is on the A short. This one's fairly simple. Up on top of this box.
Shadows traveling.
When running out A short, you're just going to get a lot of free kills on them. This one's actually very strong, and out of most of the one ways that I'm showing, I'd recommend using this one probably the most. Next one way we have here is over here on the
Shadows traveling.
CT door. This one works a lot like the one in A and B link, where I think this one's actually much stronger than those two if you're holding A site, because this is the only choke that they can come out of, and this is really, really strong to get a lot of free kills. Now lastly, I want to talk about boxes when you're planting. Like on Ascent, you would throw a smoke something like this.
Cover going out.
Or here up on top of this. And if they're defusing the spike, they can't see anything, but you can see all of them. And it's a lot of free kills. Over here on B site, there are a lot of the same situations where you would throw it up on top of this. They're defusing the spike here, and you have a really free shot on them because you can see their feet, or maybe you throw it over on this one more in the back, or on this side if they're planting over here. And on C, you have a lot of the same things, where you would throw it up on top of this box if they were defusing here. And back here is another really strong one, where if they plant up on top of this, if you plant right here, They're diffusing, and they have to run actually really far away before you can get out of the smoke. Now we are on to our third map, Lotus, which is one of my favorite maps at the moment to be playing Omen on, because there are a lot of creative things that you can do here with one-ways. Starting off over here on the C side, we have a basic one-way over here where you're going to be throwing it like this, and I actually think I just missed it. I did indeed miss it, but you're going to be throwing it here on the edge of this corner. If I can actually get it on there, please.
Cover going out.
Like this, and once this one dissipates, you'll see that we have a really nice one-way here. If you're standing on the side of the mound, you're going to be able to get a lot of free kills. People have to cross very far to be able to even see you. And this one's really good for getting early C control, and this is pretty much where I'd recommend you playing Omen on. Next we have a one-way over here for early peak C main, which is going to end up landing around here.
Cover going out.
So this one's really good for early peak C. You'll be able to shoot someone that's trying to peek out here. Just one thing about the smoke, it actually is pretty good on defense, and I'll show you why here in a second. Because here, I'll just show you right now. This is one that I actually don't mind recommending to someone using on defense either, even though I think it's pretty good on attack. Throwing it right up here. Because if they're crossing on the side of the mound, you have really nice shots on them, and especially if they're close here, you have really nice shots on them if you're just playing here in the corner of the site or maybe back here. So this one's pretty good for that. Another good one right here is actually on this corner right here. Now this one can be good if you're defusing the spike, obviously. They can't see you, they're going to have to run really far in, and when they're running in, you can shoot and kill them. And this one's really good if you're playing back here. Someone running across, you can kill them while they're running across because they are pretty much not going to be able to see you. If I can throw right here one more time just to show you what it would look like as an attacker trying to cross here. As you can see, they can't see you up there on top until they get all the way out here, and so you should be able to get a pretty easy kill on them. The next one that can be thrown is over here towards Waterfall. You don't really need to be in this form. You can actually get it not too hard from over here. But if you're right here, it's actually really easy to get the lineup if you're in the alternate form here. So you're going to throw it like this. It's going to land like this. So any defenders retaking on Waterfall cannot really see you pretty much at all. And you're going to be able to see all their feet so you can shoot them when they're coming through here. Now another one way that you can throw right here is up on top of these little doors right here. You can throw this on the one over on the A site over here. And this is a good one way for putting down if someone's trying to run through it. You can shoot them in the feet. Well, there's a few one ways over here on the B site. This one's actually a little bit difficult to throw because it's going to be landing on top of something, and I think I just messed it up there. Oh, we made it right. So it's going to be landing on top of something right here, and this one's for people coming out here. If you're crossed over here, you can get a pretty good one way on them. And this one's really good for if you have the spike plant here, and a lot of people like to plant their spike here on B site. Next one way we have here is over towards B door. It's going to be landing like this. Now this one isn't really necessarily a one-way per se, but it's just a kind of a nicer way to throw this smoke. I normally just throw it deep like this, but it's okay to throw this one because this one's actually really good. If they're running out, you'll be able to kill them before they actually get through the smoke. The next one way over here is towards a link on the B side. This one is a little bit difficult to get. It's like this. This one landing up here, you're going to be able to see a guy tucked in the corner over here, and he won't be able to actually see or shoot you back. Unless he's crouching, that is. But I normally just don't smoke this, to be honest. I think throwing a smoke over here and towards upper is better because it's easier to just run out and check you on your right. But you can throw this one if you would like to. The next one way is going to be over here towards A main. We're going to be throwing a smoke like
Cover
this.
going out.
Now, this smoke's pretty good. It lands and you can see their feet in the door here. But obviously by the time this smoke landing, they could already be out. They could be pushed up over here. They could run across. So I would recommend throwing that
Stealing sight.
and be flashing and teleporting up here. This is a good way to use it. But yeah, this is a really strong one way. Next one way is going to be over here towards A stairs. You're going to be throwing it like so. Make sure you get that green line, obviously. Can't seem to line it up
Cover
here. There
going
we go.
out.
Now this one's really strong. I would say this is better to throw in most cases than just the regular smoke, as they actually can't see anything anytime, and you're going to be able to see them, not quite if they're up on the top of the stairs, but if they're trying to walk through, you're going to be able to see them. So I'd recommend throwing this smoke almost every time that you're going to be throwing a smoke stairs. Now the next one way smoke that I'm going to be throwing is right here.
Shadows traveling.
That's up here on top of this pile. This one's really good if you're heaven and you're waiting for people to run out from main into sight. It's really nice. And this one has actually personally gotten me a lot of kills. The next one way I'm going to be throwing is over here towards drop. We're going to be throwing it up on top of this box. This one's obviously really strong for anyone coming out drop. If you're in like a post plant situation, or if you just want to run onto site from tree here, you can throw a smoke like this and maybe one heaven, run out and plant on site, and you have full cover there. Now one thing that I'm going to recommend is to actually plant here, because if you didn't know, you could actually get your shroud here up on top of these leaves. And if you get them up on top of these leaves, or what would you call these, I guess roots of the tree, if you plant here, you're going to have a perfect one way for the spike. Now, I didn't actually come up with this, and I forget who did, so I'm going to make sure to look up the person who did to give you accurate information on them in the description. And finally, for the post-plant spike one ways, we have one like right here on this tree. So if they're defusing the spike, they obviously won't be able to see anything, and you get a clear shot on them. You can do that over here on this side too. If you're planting in here, you can place something like this. So if they're defusing the spike, they obviously won't be able to see you. You can see them. And then actually, like that one way that I showed you earlier, if you place it up here on top of the sky, it's pretty finicky and hard to get. If you place it up on top of him, can't seem to do right now. If I can get him, please. There we go. On top of there, you'll be able to kind of one-way him, but this one kind of messed up. And then over here on the seaside, there's actually pretty much nowhere that you can plant the spike to have a one-way. I guess you could plant it here, and you'll have a one-way here. But you'll need to be playing deep here in this bend to actually be able to use that. Alright, and we are on to our final map, Split. I just want to say that before I start this, I don't actually play Omen that much on this map anymore. Since they changed his one-ways, I am actually playing Astra a lot more because I think she's just way better on this map. So there won't be as many one-ways on this map. Anyways, to start us off, we have this one-way right here, which is for a ramp.
Shadows traveling.
This one-way is pretty good for people running out a ramp. The only problem is now that they have this ledge here, it's a lot harder to know if they're going to swing from here or if they're going to swing from down here. But with this one way, you'll obviously be able to see the person that's swinging out down here very fast and kill them, and you'll still be able to see the person that's up here and kill them too. Next, we have a one way over here towards screens, and just a forewarning, you want to throw this one just about as low as you can, because if you aren't throwing it low enough, they will actually be able to sit in the back of screens and see you. So if you're throwing this one very low, you'll actually be able to see their feet and be able to kill them through it. But most of the time, I'm just going to be throwing the regular smoke. Next, we have this one way over towards A site. We're just going to be throwing it up here on this corner.
Shadows traveling.
Actually, I haven't used this one very much, but as you can see, this one way's towards the back site corner, and it might actually help you get on the site a little bit easier. But I wouldn't throw this one almost ever because I think it's mandatory to throw a smoke heaven, and then you also want to get a smoke in the screens as well. Now in mid we have this one-way smoke here, which is landing just like this. This one's actually really strong for early mid hold or aggression against mid if they're pushing mid a lot. This one's really strong because they won't actually be able to push out market or see you or anything like that. So this one's actually pretty good overall. Alright, the next smoke we're going to be throwing is over here towards B main. We're just going to be throwing it over here. We're going to make sure that the green door lands like that. Smoke is going to be a standard one-way towards B main. This is one that when I used to play Omen on this map a lot, I was using a lot, and it was a lot easier when you were able to actually get it red barred. But now you actually had to be a lot more specific. You're going to want to make sure that it's landing up on these pipes. But this one's excellent for early B main control, and it really deters them to push it. So you can get a lot of info here in garage. You can make sure they're not pushing. You can actually go deep. You can do whatever you want with it. You can really play around with it. And finally, we have our site bomb post plant smokes. Great one here if they're planted anywhere around here. You can throw it up on top of this box, and then they'll be diffusing inside of the smoke. You could also throw it up on top of this if it's planted in front or behind the TV, obviously. They're going to be using, you're going to be able to see their feet. And then there's one over here on the B site. So you're going to be landing it up on top of this thing right here. A little bit hard to land, it's a little bit finicky, but it'll work if you want it to. Plant it here. You'll obviously be able to see their feet when they're defusing the spike. So that's about it. Sorry there wasn't a lot of one-ways here on Split. I tried finding more, but there just aren't a lot of one-ways that you can actually do on this map, which is why I prefer playing Astra, because I think her utility is just better overall than Omen's. And before I go, I just wanted to say that one-ways on Omen are great, and they can get you a lot of kills, but I don't think using them every round and forsaking necessary site smokes is really worth it. Don't get me wrong, I love using them, and I think they're really cool and fun, but I suggest that you don't use them every round, or even all that often, to be honest, as I think there are better ways to use them. So thanks for watching my Omen One Way video. I hope you learned something new, and hope you enjoyed the video. I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe, and if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Later.